I absolutely adore the draft lottery. It's really fun when your team is in it, which is kind of
Mhm.
like a weird thing to say because that means you didn't make the playoffs.
So
And
it was a miserable season, but it's fun on lottery
right.
night.
Hope Springs Eternal starting at the draft lottery.
Yeah.
And boy, did it turn pessimistic for old Uncle Buck quick.
Lord have
uh
mercy.
I do this thing when I'm watching the draft lottery, like I'm sure all of you do, is I'll have Tankathon up on my phone so I know the order in which this should go. So if a team gets skipped, they were one of the 4 teams that got
Mhm.
picked by the lottery, meaning that they go up to the top 4.
Mhm.
At the 3rd pick announced, I'm like, please say Dallas. Nope, no Dallas.
Mm.
Dallas jumps all the way up to the 4 seed, to the 1 seed, or the number 1 pick rather. San Antonio number 2, Philly number 3, and poor Charlotte at 4 and Utah at 5. I mean, just awful.
I mean, it
Awful,
really
awful.
was.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get to the top 4 here in a minute because I definitely got a lot of thoughts about that, as I'm sure our listeners and viewers do. If you're on X, hop on over to YouTube. Let us know your thoughts. While you're here, give us a like, subscribe, and turn those notifications on. But I mean, Utah, like, they got fined for not playing Laurie Markkinen and still didn't get a top 4 pick. Like, they were
Yeah.
actively trying to lose, and they got the 5th pick. Like, in your fantasy football draft, that's great because you're going to be picking consistently.
Right.
But the 5th pick, like, you're going to pick some like Slovenian dude that we've never heard of who's going to spend his career in the G League or in NBA Europe. And
Right.
so, like, it just like I like that they didn't necessarily reward the tanking, but I've got thoughts
Absolutely.
about the top 4 here in a
Yeah.
minute. But like, that's the one that jumps out to me. Like, Utah got fined for not playing Laurie when he was healthy, trying to get the 1st overall
Yeah.
pick. And Adam Silver said, "Screw you, you get 5."
Yeah. I mean, I think that I love the fact that teams like Charlotte and Utah didn't win, but
Mhm.
and they haven't really recently. The exception of Cade Cunningham's draft,
Yeah,
Detroit
the
had the
Pistons.
worst
Yeah.
record and they moved up. But
Which
I think
Detroit's
that
always been historically a team that's been favored by the NBA.
well, no. Detroit's a team that's never gotten a number 1 pick until Cade
I guess that's
Cunningham,
fair. Yeah, I guess that's
despite
fair.
always being trash.
I guess that's
Uh,
fair. That's fair.
and so they hit gold with that lottery to get Cade, and you saw how it's changed the franchise.
Mhm.
I love the fact that it has not de-incentivized tanking because you still see tanking prevalent in the NBA, but the reward is not paying off. If you told
Yeah.
Utah right now, like, hey, you've got the tied for the first best odds at the number 1 pick in the draft, so you're going to tank a whole season and get the number 5. Chances are next time you're just going to play a little harder. You're
Mhm.
not going to risk a $250,000 fine to sit Laurie Markkinen when he's totally healthy. Like,
Yeah.
I hope that's what happens, but I don't think it actually will.
No, because what makes me mad is the Blazers. The Blazers got the 11th pick, but of all these teams on this list, like the
Yeah,
Blazers tried to win basketball games. Like they were well within the top 4 best odds around the halfway
right.
All-Star break point, and then just played great basketball down the stretch. They tried, they hustled, and to me,
And
that should be rewarded.
the same story is the reason why of the East teams, I'd have been totally happy with Chicago getting the number 1
Yeah,
seed.
because they tried. They made the plans. They tried. They hustled. They played good basketball.
Right.
Edward Hayes, who's ill subliminal on Twitter, popped in our comments this morning on the Daily Grind and said that they should do, as much as Adam Silver loves tournaments, they need to do a play-in tournament or a
Play
tournament,
out. Play out
play-out
tournament.
tournament. You get
Yeah.
the bottom 4 seeds. Winner gets the first pick. Second place, second, third, and fourth, and so on. A, that makes it competitive, gives them something to play for. B, it doesn't reward tanking as much. Yes, you're a bad team, but then you go beat the other bad teams for a shot at Cooper Flag. But Adam Silver would never leave something up to chance like that maybe Washington or Charlotte would get hot and win the tournament. And then you've got the next generational talent, a Wemby or Cooper Flag, buried in Charlotte or Washington, where literally nobody cares about those teams.
All right, listen. Worst case scenario outside of Dallas winning was or a Great White Hope going to Washington. Okay, like that would have just been the worst. Okay, we can
Absolutely.
agree on that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's just get to it because the outrage.
You
and
knew it was going to happen.
All this was everybody. There was a mob that said, "This is rigged."
Mm-hmm.
Rusty, was it?
Yes. If you don't think that Adam Silver told Nico Harrison, listen, if you trade Luka Doncic to the Lakers to help us with ratings and get some attention back, we will give you the first overall pick that you can either draft Cooper Flag or trade it for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I got oceanfront property on Lamar Avenue here in Memphis that I want to sell you because it's the ultimate rig job. I told Maggie, we're sitting on her couch last night watching this. They said, all right, your top 4 picks. I said, watch this. I said 4 Hornets. They announced Hornets. 3 Sixers. They announced it. 2 Spurs. They announced it. Mav getting the pick. They announced it. And she goes, you just Rain Man that thing. I said, nah, it's just that rigged.
I'm not Rain Man. I'm just an idiot.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You knew exactly what was going to happen. Adam Silver absolutely predestined this way back at the trade deadline that Nico Harrison, even though they're at a 1.8% chance to get the first overall pick, we're absolutely getting that.
All right. My turn. The evidence, I'm sorry. The evidence to make the claim that this is rigged is there. You've got Anthony Davis getting traded, New Orleans getting the number 1 pick. You've got
Chris Paul, New Orleans,
Chris
got
Paul
the
getting traded. Yeah,
the
whole
Cavs
thing.
And LeBron, the whole thing.
The problem with it is absolutely impossible that this was rigged. It is just it is videoed, Rusty. It is just it is obvious bad luck, but you cannot convince me that there was actually a way to rig this. There are 1,000 combinations in which 14 teams are given X number of combinations and 4 balls are drawn out.
Hey, I got a question.
There's just no possible way.
Okay. All right. Have you ever been to a casino?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Have you ever played like Plinko or any of those things where the balls drop?
I mean, that's Price is Right, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a game in most casinos. It's called Plinko, and it's Plinko or Bunko or whatever they want to call it. Plinko is from the Price is Right where the balls drop.
No.
Same thing. There's game shows that do that, all that kind of stuff. You can absolutely rig that.
There's no way.
Through weights,
it's
through
not.
magnets, through things that you can absolutely make it happen. And hang on, here's why.
Happen.
Here's why.
I'm just you can say your casino theory and how the casino is always going to win, and I'll give you that. This isn't a casino, and this isn't.
So you're telling me. You're telling me that a NBA that an NBA commissioner who stands a chance to make billions of dollars in revenue.
What will he lose if he gets busted? The NBA would fold if this ever came out. Like it's impossible.
Not just for the lottery. And there's you can absolutely make this happen because it's a multi-billion-dollar a year industry, and they cannot afford.
Be a multi-billion-dollar
let me finish. There's a perfectly good reason for this guy to not go to some of these small markets because he gets buried and you don't get the shoe revenue or the Chinese money coming in or the overseas viewership or whatever that comes with that. I don't care how good Victor and Cooper Flag are. If they go to the Wizards, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care.
Wembanyama went to the Spurs. The Spurs.
What brand is the Spurs? Are you kidding?
What brand is the Spurs? No,
they've got Argentina. They've got France. They've got multiple NBA championships. They have the greatest coach in the NBA history in Greg Popovich. There's no. Are you kidding me?
The NBA doesn't care about that. The Spurs are doing nothing for ratings. Nothing. Absolutely.
Now that Pop is gone,
San Antonio. No,
but no, they were one of them.
They were awful.
They're one of the premier franchises.
There is no way. There is no way that the NBA rigged anything to go in San Antonio's favor.
You're just drunk, not. Bro. And if absolutely.
You wanted, but
they're
Rusty,
the biggest small market brand.
No, but what you failed to get is how everything is on video. There is a representative and a reporter from every single team in there. And this has been doing this since the late 80s. Like there is no possible way that you could do this without an absolute stink being done. Every team that get screwed would have to be complicit. And there is no way that they just take this sitting down. And if it ever came out that they rigged the NBA draft lottery in which a generational prospect was given to a team, think of the absolute egg on the face that the whole league would do. You would lose sponsors. This is gambled on.
No, they
like
wouldn't. No,
this
wouldn't.
is
They
a
wouldn't lose
gambled
a
on
single
entity. Like
0%
you're talking about
chance they're losing
Rico.
anything.
I mean, this is stupid. Like there is
what's
possible
okay.
way.
So Drew, while I got you here, then
are there. No, let me finish. Everything is there. Everything you can point to, like, oh, this is evidence of it being rigged, but you cannot point to any actual evidence that it is rigged. It is all just like
it's a multi-billion-dollar industry where they can hide it. It's 2025. There's AI. You could go back to 98 to 85. You can like now,
Yeah,
but you can go back to 98. You can go back to the Orlando back-to-back. You can go back to Jordan.
Again,
You can go back to Derrick Rose. Let me finish that gum. Like I let you finish. Let me talk. Lord have mercy. You can go back to the Derrick Rose draft in 2006. Drew, if you think that the NBA cannot get away with this, then we probably need to talk about the tooth fairy and the fact that you think the government's coming to rescue you, because we can absolutely get away with this thing behind closed door. You absolutely can get away with it because they're doing a great cover-up job. That's the best part of conspiracy theories.
All right, let me put it to you this way.
Provable enough.
Let me put it to you this way.
I can't even finish a thought.
Let me put it to this. The year that LeBron James was the number one NBA draft prospect, was going to go in the draft, the Memphis Grizzlies had the best odds to win the lottery. If he was given and rigged in favor of Cleveland Cavaliers so that LeBron could go home, the Memphis Grizzlies, with any shred of proof, would burn the NBA to the ground. Like, there's just never been any actual proof because it's on video. Like, you keep talking about, like, this could happen. There's never been a shred of evidence. Not even one bit. Like, this is, like you said, multi-billion-dollar business. If one multi-million-dollar owner of a NBA franchise feels gypped, they will burn this to the ground. And it's never happened. It's never happened. So you've got the motive, but there is no proof.
I mean,
if you can provide it.
I've tried to talk to you about it, but I keep getting interrupted, so I can't finish thoughts, so we can move on. But like, there's video evidence of Bigfoot. There's all these things out there that can be manipulated. So there are ways that they can absolutely do this. I'm not saying that 100% that it is, but I think the evidence and things directly point to a series of tomfoolery dating back to the early days of the NBA draft lottery. And again, like, the evidence is out there. You can decide what you want.
No, there's not. No, there's not. There is just players.
There's no smoking gun. There's not a smoking gun, but the evidence, bro, like LeBron going to Cleveland, Derrick Rose going to Chicago. Like, there is absolutely circumstantial evidence out there.
I'm banging the gavel. If you're telling me that there's nothing you can point to other than like
there is circumstantial evidence. Like, it's enough to be proved in court. I would guarantee it. So let us know what you think in the comments.
No chance.
I'm going to post a poll. Let us know. Do you think the NBA lottery is rigged? I'm done arguing with this fool. He can't even see over the dashboard to see my point. So I am done with that.